The communists were masters at covertly creating disasters in order to cause discontent. They did this, for example, by bombing their own houses and bombing black churches and then crying white supremacy.
You may know of incidents during the civil rights movement where homes and churches of black families were being bombed. Well, here's an incident where a white male bought a home in a predominantly white neighborhood and then rented it to a black family. He drew attention to the fact that there was a black family living in that home in a predominantly white neighborhood. Next thing we know, he set a bomb to it and blew it up. Listen to what happened next.
What do you think has been the biggest influence on the current civil rights movement?
Well, I think the strongest influence has been the element in this country which is interested in turmoil and in order to further the revolution in this country. And they have had influence over Negro leaders and organizations, not over the Negro people, but except insofar as they have convinced leadership that the tactics and strategy used would be advantageous.
The communists were masters at covertly creating disasters in order to cause discontent. They did this, for example, by bombing their own houses and bombing black churches and then crying white supremacy. Carl Braden, for example, was convicted for doing such a thing where he bought a house for a black party member in a predominantly white neighborhood, then fanning the flames by drawing attention to the fact that a Negro just moved into a white Kentucky neighborhood.
They arrested Carl Braden for bombing his own house and charged him with sedition, and he spent years in jail.
Carl Braden and his wife, of course, would go on to be relatively close to Martin Luther King and be heavily involved in the civil rights movement, which ironically was constantly being victimized by church bombings.
And there have been more unsolved bombings of Negro homes and churches in Birmingham than any other city.
If you'd like to know more about this incident that took place in 1954, we have Andrew and Charlotte Wade, who rented the home, the black couple who rented the home from Carl and Ann Braden, the white couple. Then I advise you to go to the MLK Project. Now, the MLK Project was put together for the purpose of bringing to light true events that took place around the era of the civil rights movement.